another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and it is Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the USA. I'm not going to be on here very long because in about 40 minutes, I'm gonna tap into my homegirls podcast. So I want to get on here and just do a quick little rundown and a little discussion about tomorrow Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua and a few other things real quick. If you're here, please hit thumbs up for me one time. Just hit the thumbs up. All right, so tomorrow night MVP card, Alicia Baumgartner, hailing from Ohio, USA, represents Detroit, Michigan, versus Leila Bowden. I feel like Alicia will win this fight tomorrow night. Alicia has she has good power. She has pretty good skills all the way around, and I think her chemistry with Derrick James down in Texas will be pretty good. Um, Derrick James is a good coach. I mean, just like many trainers, you can always say a person can do a little more of this or a little more of that, but overall, he's a solid he's a solid trainer. Um, so I'm taking Alicia Baumgartner to stop Leila Bowden in the later rounds as the co-main event. I think Alicia is going to stop her opponent tomorrow night. Also on that card, um, two former MMA fighters, Anderson Silva versus Tyrone Woodley, and both of these guys actually fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul fought both of these guys. Please hit the thumbs up. Um, I don't really know how to call this fight. Anderson Silva versus Tyrone Woodley. Anderson got a slick style, of course, as an MMA fighter, but he has nice hand speed as a boxer as well. Um, he has the reach advantage, so I think that could be a factor versus Tyrone Woodley, who's going to be the shorter guy with the shorter reach. I think if Anderson Silva uses his reach advantage to his advantage, then he's going to win the fight. Even if Anderson Silva doesn't get a knockout, he will win a points decision if he's being smart and not fighting the fight that Tyrone wants. You know, Tyrone, the shorter guy, he's going to want a closer range and mid range fight. Um, it's best for Anderson Silva just to keep it long. Use a lot of jabs, plenty of jabs all night long. Think Larry Holmes. Think Muhammad Ali. You know, jab, jab, jab. Keep that jab popping out there. Keep that jab popping out there. Um, Also on that same card, there's gonna be plenty of female boxers on that card. So let's talk about a potential opponent of who could be a potential future opponent of Alicia Baumgartner, the sister of Daniel Dubois. Carolyn Dubois will make her debut here in America, and she will be fighting on the MVP card tomorrow night. I'm probably looking most forward to her fight more than any fight on this card, Carolyn Dubois. Um, And I like the respect that AJ had. You know what I'm saying? He still has that respect for Daniel Dubois, even though he was knocked out by Daniel Dubois. He talked about his loss, but he also gave a lot of respect to Carolyn Dubois and the Dubois family. You know, pretty much saying that they're all they come from a fighting bloodline. So AJ has a lot of respect for the Dubois family. So shout outs to the Dubois. An extra special shout out to Carolyn Dubois for fighting tomorrow. Um, I like the fact of seeing Carolyn Dubois and Alicia Baumgartner going back and forth. Hey, what's going on, everybody in the chat? I appreciate y'all. Uh, Salute to everybody here. I really appreciate that, y'all. Um, so I like the back and forth I seen with Carolyn Dubois going back and forth with Alicia Baumgartner. And Alicia said something to the fact that basically Carolyn Dubois is like a young pup, you know, but pretty much Alicia is trying to say she's the big dog, you know what I'm saying? So she's kind of talking her smack or whatever. But Carolyn Dubois, she didn't seem to really back down. Like she had to say, or she was going to say what she wanted to say. Now, Carolyn Dubois is at 135. Alicia Baumgartner is at 130. But making making it from 130 to 135, it shouldn't be a huge issue for Alicia Baumgartner because she had constantly said in the past she would do a catch weight and fight Clarissa Shields. Now, that could have been just cap or clout chasing or whatever. Um, Maybe her knowing that Clarissa would never get that far down in weight because now Clarissa's fighting at heavyweight. Um, Clarissa is not going to be able to get down. She would probably even struggle to get down to like 154, uh, in the 150s. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds on that situation. But big shout outs again to Carolyn Dubois and Alicia Baumgartner, who will be on the MVP card tomorrow night. I saw a small snippet of an interview. I didn't see the full interview, but on ProBox TV, Lamont Roach Jr., of course, did an interview with them with his hand wrapped up. And he was talking about the fact, basically, he said what I expected that he may say, that he felt like he did enough to win the fight against Pitbull Cruz. But reality is you didn't do enough to win the fight. You started late. You you waited way too late, man. You should have stepped up a lot sooner. You can't be 5 rounds down and then in the 6th round you're trying to catch up. You got to be on top of your game early in the fight. A lot of those early rounds should have been close, and pretty much Pitbull Cruz was he was running those rounds, and even got a knockdown in round 4. So you got to give it to him. Uh, hey, I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through. Um, Now there was a video. There was a video circulating with Tyson Fury's reaction to Anthony Joshua and some of the things he said regarding Jake Paul or whatever. And, you know, it was a typical response that you expect from Tyson Fury. Um, he's going to say something to kind of come off come off to sounding like he's hating on Anthony Joshua, but he pretty much is saying like, I'm the big guy here. AJ wants to fight a smaller Jake Paul, this, that, and the other. But I mean, how could he even say that when Tyson Fury naturally is bigger than everybody he fights? Uh, Height wise, reach wise, weight wise. Fury fought Steve Cunningham years ago, and Steve Cunningham was a small fighter. I want to say Steve Cunningham was a cruiserweight that fought Tyson Fury, and then you had Usyk, who was a former cruiserweight that fought Fury. You know what I'm saying? So Fury's always been a much bigger guy to his opponents, but he wants to try to make it seem like AJ is supposed to be this massive guy against a itty bitty Jake Paul. I mean, you can see the size difference for sure, but you know it is what it is. Sweet Jones, what's going on, Cuzzo? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it for sure. Just tapping in for a quick second, man, to be on here for maybe about half hour or something like that. And I looked at an old video with Keyshawn Davis going back and forth with Frank Martin. Some people may feel Frank Martin supposedly ducked Keyshawn Davis, but think about it. I mean, I don't personally feel that way. I can't see. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Keyshawn Davis is not nice, but it's not to the extent where Frank Martin's going to duck him. I don't see Frank Martin taking on Tank Davis, but then want to duck Keyshawn Davis. I just personally don't see that. I know style makes fights, but I feel like a lot of what Keyshawn do, so can Frank Martin. They both athletic. They both got nice punching power. You know what I'm saying? Ring generalship. They move good. So I would like to see Frank Martin versus Keyshawn Davis, because it's not going to be like a Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, which could potentially be a chess match. Whereas with Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis, I think these guys are both athletic, but they both have power. So either guy can stop the other guy. With Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo, you know it's a good chance it's going to the scorecards. But Teofimo could stop. He could stop Shakur Stevenson. And I've always said that from the get-go, so I kind of stick by that, man. I feel like he could possibly win. Harry Card, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Sans Mexicano, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate you. Spider-Man, thanks for coming. Appreciate everybody here in the chat. What do you feel like, Sans Mexicano? What do you feel about Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson? Do you have a prediction on that fight? Tafime versus Shakur Stevenson. If anybody has a prediction, let me know what y'all feel about that one. And the potential fight next year, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. What do y'all feel about that? Who do you think gonna win? I feel like AJ is gonna win by stoppage. I think AJ is gonna go to the body of Tyson Fury. He's finally gonna do something and go to an extent that nobody else has gone. Everybody fights Tyson Fury. Everybody chooses to be a person who neglects going to the body. I think that if they fight, that Anthony Joshua is going to go to the body of Tyson Fury. He's going to set up different traps, and he's going to have many ways of finishing him. He's not like Deontay Wilder, where he only can land a right hand. Anthony Joshua can land a left uppercut, a left to the head, or a left hook to the body. He can land an uppercut with the right hand, a hook with the right hand. He just has a lot of different weapons and a lot more of an element of surprise than Deontay Wilder ever brought to the table when he was fighting Tyson Fury. You know, and AJ just needs a solid win tomorrow night against Jake Paul. He needs a solid win because it'll be a moral victory if Jake Paul can get him and say that he made it to round 3 or round 4. He can't let Jake Paul make it past the point that he let Ngannou make it. You know what I'm saying? He has to stop Jake Paul just as fast as he stopped Francis Ngannou. I know Jake Paul said to that reference, he was saying like Ngannou was there to be hit. His feet was stuck in mud. He couldn't move. So he was right, pretty much a stationary target for Anthony Joshua. So according to Jake Paul, he's going to have movement. He's going to have upper body movement. He's going to have head movement. He's going to pretty much be chucking and jiving, chucking and jiving or whatever. But I feel like it'll be a situation to where in the first round, as soon as that bell ring, AJ's going to pretty much be throwing jabs, but jabs with mean intention. It doesn't matter if it's the left jab or the right jab. He's going to be throwing a lot of mean intention jabs. Even if they are punches that graze or hit the glove of Jake Paul, I feel like the power is going to be so crazy that Jake Paul's eyes is going to get big once he actually feels the type of power of a true heavyweight like Anthony Joshua. Once he feels that real power, I think he's going to go into retreat mode and he's going to try to it's going to be like a cat and mouse. That he's going to start getting on his back foot. He's going to try to clinch as much as he can. He's going to try to do everything he can to evade the power of Anthony Joshua once he feels how crazy the power is. So I think by round 2, round 3, AJ's going to cut off the ring. Even though he's a big dude, AJ's not no plotter. He doesn't have the fastest feet like Usyk. He doesn't even have slick feet like a Tyson Fury or whatever. But Anthony Joshua is far from what you call a plotter. You know what I'm saying? He definitely has faster feet than somebody like Jermaine Franklin or Andy Ruiz, who really is not known for footwork. So I think like to close that gap, to get into range, I feel like it's not going to be too hard for Anthony Joshua to close the distance in that ring. And eventually, he's going to catch Jake Paul. Now, the good thing about Anthony Joshua is he doesn't necessarily have to catch him with a uppercut or a hook to the chin. Nah. Anthony Joshua has a type of power to where if he catches Jake Paul to the liver, to the rib cage, time after time, that's going to be enough devastating power to stop, excuse me, to stop Jake Paul with a body shot. I feel like that's the way he should end this one. End it in a different fashion. End it in a way that most people don't get to see from Anthony Joshua. We see that he's a good body puncher, but we really don't see him commit to the body. I would like to see him commit to the body and drop Jake Paul with a body shot to where he's just sitting there like Zilly Zane did when he fought Ajit Kabiel. He caught a body shot, he dropped down to a knee, and could not get himself back to his feet. That's what I'm thinking, or that's my line of thinking when it comes to Anthony Joshua. Think outside the box and be spiteful. Go for what you know. Let us see the AJ and some remnants of the old AJ that made people a fan of Anthony Joshua. Let's see that side of Anthony Joshua. No holding back, no carrying your opponent, none of that. The old AJ, unleash the beast, and let's see what's going to go down. Now, speaking of AJ, his very first loss happened to be over here in America when he lost against Andy Ruiz. Now, Andy Ruiz has said that he would fight AJ in a trilogy and he would like to get a third fight. It's something he's been talking about for a long, long time, ever since him losing the rematch to Anthony Joshua. There's a lot of training videos now of Andy Ruiz and his trainer, Manny Robles. I like Andy Ruiz. He has a very good head on his shoulder. He has a good personality to him, personality or whatever. So I'd like to see Andy Ruiz get back in there. I would like to see Andy Ruiz fight somebody like Jermaine Franklin, the winner of Moses and Tuma and Jermaine Franklin. I would like to see Andy Ruiz fight that person, and I feel like people like Fabio Wardley, who's at the top, should fight Ajit Kabiel. He should fight the winner. So Fabio Wardley should fight the winner of Ajit Kabiel versus Damian Kimba. Andy Ruiz should fight the winner of Jermaine Franklin versus Moses and Tuma. That'd be good to see. And meanwhile, Usyk versus Wilder will probably happen in 2026. So there's a lot of different possibilities of different things that could unravel and unfold in the sport of boxing. And I think boxing is in a good place right now. Now, there are a few fights that people want to see. We're not sure if they're going to happen, or at least happen right at the moment, like Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis. We need to see Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. But I believe at some point it will happen in the near future. It has to happen. I also saw a statement by Rolly Romero, pretty much he said something, I'm going to paraphrase, but he pretty much saying, why would he fight Devin Haney and saying that, hey, okay, if I did fight Devin Haney, I knock him out. I'm not trying to be carried into court with lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. So he was really like cracking a joke, being sarcastic, but he's pretty much talking about the Ryan Garcia situation and Devin Haney. And Rolly Romero was just sneak dissing basically in his own way. And that's just the personality of Rolly Romero. You know, he could be a funny dude. He could definitely be a funny guy. But yeah, it's just time for a lot of these guys to fight each other. You know, it's some talent out here. Um, Lamont Roach, if he needs to heal his hand, I'm pretty sure Pitbull Cruz is willing to fight whoever. Pitbull Cruz, hopefully at 140. You know, you got Frank Martin up there. Excuse me, Keyshawn Davis up there at 140. You know, Richardson Hitchens. It's a good division at 140. So hopefully we can see some really good matches in 2026. Well, obviously, like I spoke about earlier, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, it will technically be the end of this year. I want to say January 31st. So we'll see what happens in February with like fights like Franchon Crews-Dezurn versus Claressa Shields. That's another fight of interest because they haven't fought in like 10 years. So now, like Franchon said in the interview, pretty much she was called on like a 2.5 week notice to fight Claressa Shields 10 years ago. Well, since that time to current, up to date now, when they fight in 2026, Franchon Crews said she's ready for this. She's ready for the moment, and she plans to defeat Claressa Shields up in Detroit. That'd be big for her to be from, I believe, Baltimore to come to Detroit, which Claressa has a huge fan base, being from Flint, Michigan. If Franchon Crews-Dezurn could beat her, but even beat her with a stoppage, that's huge. That would be huge, and I think that the boxing world would erupt, especially for women's boxing, if somehow Franchon Crews-Dezurn were able to stop Claressa Shields. That would be a big moment in the history of boxing. Now, I personally see Claressa winning on points, but hey, it is boxing, and I want to say they're going to be at heavyweight, so they're going to be packing some power and some size behind their punches. So hey, it's gonna be going down, and it's just good. It's good to know that you still got Hannah Gabriels out there who wants that rematch with Claressa Shields. That's been calling her out. Of course, you had the situation with the dog food or whatever, and they were saying that she tested positive, but Hannah Gabriel said it was something about the medication or something that she gave her dog that touched her, that got, I guess, into her system and had her test positive when she took her test. So with Hannah Gabriel's being out there, of course, Shadasia Green out there, them are the two that, like I say it over and over again, them are the two opponents we all want to see Claressa Shields go up against. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just do me a big favor. Um, hit the thumbs up and follow my Twitter page. Um, because I'm just trying to get that Twitter page going. Um, because basically I set up a Twitter page, but I was hardly ever on my Twitter page. I was so dedicated to always being on FB, on Facebook, and sometimes on IG a lot. I was always putting Twitter on the back burner, and a lot of people say when it comes to boxing or any sports, Twitter is really like a hot spot for sports. So I'm starting to really tap more into Twitter. So follow my Twitter page please. Ring Walk Boxing Podcast on Twitter, and follow me, and I will do my best to follow you back as well. And I'm gonna start sharing a lot of my YouTube videos to my Twitter page. I'm gonna share a lot more of what I do, like this video tonight. Once it processes or whatever through YouTube, I'm gonna take this and I will be uploading it on my Twitter page. So please follow me on Twitter. Also follow my TikTok page. In the bottom description area on YouTube, there's a link tree, so you can see all of my links to my social media. Hey fam, greetings to you. I appreciate you, Cuzzo. Much love. Please hit the thumbs up and do me a favor. I'm not going to be on here a lot longer. I've been on here about a half hour, but if you go down to the comment and you slide it across, it'll say hype the video. Go down to the comment, slide it across, and please hit hype the video. Hype this video, please. And if you do follow me already on Twitter, when I post my Twitter videos, just retweet. Hit the retweet button and share. Share me on Twitter. I appreciate everybody here. And I'll be back on here on Sunday, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. I'm going to go live every Sunday, so please make yourself at home. Come here to Ring Walk Boxing Podcast, where we value your opinion and we politic on the sport of boxing. We just have adult talk, and we keep everything nice and cool, and we just chop it up on the sport of boxing. Gordon, hello. I appreciate you coming here to Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. Everybody in the chat room, I appreciate y'all. And we're going to keep this popping. Like I said, we're going to keep it popping here with our weekly 6 p.m. show. And throughout the week, I'm going to be popping up on here, dropping these here and there throughout the week as well. And I appreciate everybody's support for sure. So don't miss out on tomorrow's boxing card. Tomorrow, December 19th, MVP Promotions will present Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua main event, with the co-main event, the women boxing, Alicia Baumgartner of Fremont, Ohio, versus Layla Bowden. And you also have on the same card the sister of heavyweight Daniel Dubois, Carolyn Dubois of UK. It's going down in Miami, Florida. So make sure you tune in on Netflix. This will be on Netflix, so you don't have to worry about a pay-per-view. If you have Netflix, just sit back and enjoy on a Friday night. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, December the 19th, Miami, Florida, USA. So everyone out there, have a good night. Be safe. And I will catch you on the next round. Peace.